Justin with clock management, and shout out Jay the plug. Yeah, Pace League. Do it one time for charity. Gotta bring the energy, give the people what they need. Let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to yet another episode of Pace League Weekly. I, of course, am Jay the Plug with my co-host, Justin Clock Management. And we are here joined with a very special guest, actually one of the sponsors of the Pace League, who gave us one of these baller rings that it already fits perfectly. So, I mean, very good. Mr. Matt Walsh, CEO of Trophy Smack. How are you doing today, my man?
Yeah, baby. Happy to be here. Thanks for having me, guys. I'm doing great.
Man, the pleasure's all ours, bud. Thank you so much. I know you're a very busy guy, especially at this time of the year, this part of the season. So we'll get this going real quick, and we'll have a little bit of fun while we do it. All right. So,
Love it.
First topic: Shark Tank.
Yes.
I remember the first time we were watching Shark Tank. My wife and I, was one of our.
That's one of my favorite. Yeah, me and my wife as well.
And we saw that episode, and I remember, I was like, "What? Why the hell?" And we looked at each other. I was like, "Why didn't I think of this?" Like, it's just phenomenal, man. Take us through that experience. How was it?
Oh my goodness!
Obviously awesome.
I mean, yeah, I've been an entrepreneur since the day I was born in the middle of Mojave Desert.
Right.
So watching the show since season one, every idea, every business I've ever thought of, I've always just gone through that highlight reel of what it would be like walking down the halls. How would I pitch it? So it's still like, I mean, it's always going to be surreal for me to talk about how it happened as like an anecdote. It's crazy. So I blacked out the whole entire time. I can't speak exactly. I can give you commentary on what aired, because I'm like, oh yeah, that's me. That's what I said right there.
Yeah, I saw you lied to everyone on there, because at one point one of the sharks asked if you were only there trying to get Mark to say yes, and you said no.
Yeah, the way that got cut together, it definitely painted me and put me in a very, very nice light of a liar for sure. I will say this though, I was telling the truth, because going into the tank, me and Dax, we went through in detail every single shark, what their strengths would be, and how we could leverage that to grow some aspect of our business. And with those strengths, we also set our benchmark of what percentage that we would be willing to come off of our initial ask, and each shark, had a different benchmark.
That's
so
smart.
You could say I was lying based on what I just said, but no. I mean, we planned everything out in that regard. So, but yeah, the way that
and I'm sure it's edited some as well too, to make things look a certain way too.
We were in the tank for a very long time. It was like 90 minutes.
Oh wow.
Oh man.
8 minutes of airing. I mean, you can imagine just how much. I mean, it's like over 10 times the length of dialogue and commentary, and it's crazy when you're in there. It is a lot of folks had said like, oh, like, how much of it's staged. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, have you watched the show? Like, I mean, it is very authentic when you're out there, and it's almost surprising to me, because when you watch it, and I've watched it for 12 years, when you watch the show, the narrative is very clean, and the questions come through, and you've got some of the sharks talking over themselves, and there's the drama, which of course it's for TV, but being in there and 5 questions coming at once, and they're interrupting them, and it's like, whoa, oh shit, this is real.
Yeah, that's awesome. On the show at one point you said that you were an expert in logistics, right? That's your expertise. I also happen to be an expert in logistics. I do logistics for special forces. So I'm gonna have to challenge you for whatever title you got for your logistics.
Yeah, man. Well, in special forces, I'm sure there's categories that you certainly will win.
Yeah,
yeah.
I like to joke with people that the logistics we do is completely different or not even joke, tell people that it's completely different than what the
you
civilian
don't have to worry
does.
about dim factors. You don't have to worry about, I mean, I'm sure there's capacity issues, but
completely different.
very, very different, I'm sure. Yes.
Yeah.
And y'all are both speaking Greek to me. I'm just gonna sit here.
You guys even use the NMFCA guidelines, Justin?
No, we barely use like any guidelines, actually.
We need it here. We need it now.
Yeah, and make it happen. I don't care how.
Yeah, I like that. We can work together. I can do that.
U.S. military and Trophy Smack joining forces, ladies and gentlemen. Let's make
that's
that
what I'm
happen.
talking about.
Well, look, Trophy Smack, easily the best in all fantasy sports as far as, I mean, hell, trophies, rings, belts. I mean, personality, man. I mean, I love the energy that you bring.
Draft
board.
That,
it's
man.
awesome. Awesome. How did you get started? Was it just an idea that just popped into your head? I know you're as obsessed with fantasy football as Justin and I, but I'm just curious. What was that spark?
I have to say that's probably the coolest thing. I'm segueing from Shark Tank to this question is I never played fantasy football in high school and in college. All my good buddies did, and they all harped on me like, why aren't you playing with us? This is perfect for you. I play a lot of poker. I had startups in my younger, high school and college. And I just always said, I don't have the bandwidth. I know as soon as I play, I'm going to get way too into it. I can't take on another, rabbit hole. And I avoided it. And the first year that I played, I now have kids. I've got Dax, who our kids are friends, and he invited me into their, dads, the league of all of the dads that, all of our kids are birthday parties together. I'm like, you know what, this is going to be great. I'm at birthday parties, and we're, this is something that's fun to talk about. I'll jump in. And after that first, and this is not that long ago, right? I mean, I'm not ashamed to say that, I'm sort of new to the bit. It's 6 years ago, but that first Sunday, like, oh my God, what have I been missing this whole time? My wife is like, you pulled a bait and switch on me. You were a casual sports fan, and now you're watching 7 hours of commercial-free football every Sunday. And I jumped in. It's so much fun. Everything about fantasy, the risk, the reward, the give and the take, the constant there's always something to do and something to read and something to drill further into.
The smack talk.
Yeah. So, I made it to the finals my first year playing. The league had been together for 8 years before I had joined. I made it to the finals, and I'm like, okay, I'm guaranteed to win the second place prize, or whatever the purse was. And I'm like, I'm allocating 100% of that towards a ridiculous trophy. The league didn't have a trophy yet. Like, there wasn't something.
Tragedy.
So I'm in my own head, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna buy a 6-foot trophy. I'm gonna ride it like a pony into the next time we watch a game, week 16, or I'm gonna take pictures of myself spooning in bed. I'm just gonna freaking harass this group chat of pictures of this trophy and hop online. I search. I'm like, the biggest trophy I can find is 15 inches, and it's like $150, and it's $30 for shipping. I'm like, oh my God, what is happening? Like,
it looks like a T-ball trophy.
There's 30 million adults that play fantasy football, 50 million that play fantasy sports. In this country alone, I'm not the first person to want to, like, I'm not the first maniac to want to get something, ridiculous. And I mean, fantasy sports, what makes it so popular is that camaraderie and, the extra layer of smack talk and being ridiculous. So I started just doing more research into the fantasy industry. I started doing research into the trophy and award space. And that's really where the linchpin was. There's a reason why no one's shipping 6-foot trophies, because it's difficult to assemble. They're easy to be damaged. My background is in supply chain logistics. So a couple hundred all-nighters later, I'm in Shark Tank pitching a trophy company in fantasy sports. It's insane. It's crazy.
You know, it's funny. Like I went through a similar thing. We ended up making our own trophy because we couldn't. So like for last place, I went and bought a Tim Tebow action figure for last place. And because my friend who got last place was also a Broncos fan. So I spray painted it bronze and put it on top of, broke the trophy off of a cheap trophy and put it on there. And we used that for years until Trophy Smack came around, and then we got us a real trophy.
Nice, man.
I made this one. Like you said, I don't know if you can see the like
let's go.
Yeah, I painted it myself, and it's got like the candy paint on it, looking all baller and all. It's
the first thing I just thought of, like all that's going through my head right now, is how to do that in production. How do I make thousands of those at a time on demand?
You clone Jay.
I'll take care of you, man. I got you.
Hey, if you figure that out, let me know, because I need to clone a few people.
Tell you what, man, you pay me enough, I'll do it for all of them by hand. I'm good.
Be careful what you wish for, man. I'm gonna send you 1,000 POs tomorrow.
Come on.
So speaking of you making trophy, or like coming, creating this out of nowhere, like where did you come up with the name Trophy Smack?
Yeah,
I mean, coming up with business names is always kind of fun, right? You just throw a bunch of words out there and you think synonyms, you think how to combine things. And I mean, it was just that aha moment of, this is about smack talk. We're making trophies. Trophy Smack fits well. It has a punch. And there was also not just the smack talk, but I feel like smack has some, I don't know what that word is. Yeah, I mean, there's just something about it. Like, it's not just smack talk, but it also is like something that you need or you want. And I don't know, Trophy Smack, when the first time Dax and I like thought of that name, we're like, oh shit, this is it.
It just
Great
sounds
name.
like it should have already existed, right?
Yeah,
like so it should, that's got to be taken, right?
I appreciate that.
Yeah, phenomenal.
Great.
I love that, man. Like, I always think that same thing. Like, I'm gonna grab it and I'm gonna smack him in the mouth with it. Like, it's just, I love it, man. Love it. So what's that?
I was gonna say it was really cool. We launched in 2018. I think it was maybe last year, where we started to see people refer to, not like we're buying a trophy from Trophy Smack. We started to see like we're gonna get a Trophy Smack. Like,
nice.
Next is to tissue paper kind of thing. Like, obviously I'm not saying that's where we're at, but when I started to see our company name referred to as I don't know, what's the grammatical, like a pronoun, like we're getting a Trophy Smack, I was like, oh,
like you guys are the standard for a trophy, we're getting a Trophy Smack. You guys are the standard.
That was when I read that, I got goosebumps.
That's really awesome.
Y'all's not just trophies either. Like, and you've got all the things like the grills, bro. I'm a grill guy. You can ask Justin. I talk about this all the time.
Yeah,
I am a grill guy.
We need more people like you, Jay. Because I was so freaking excited about making those grills, and when I thought back to like the original idea for Trophy Smack and why I wanted to start making these trophies, I'm like, man, in my mindset, if I saw a grill online, I would have bought it in a heartbeat, because that's just one of those, who walks in with a fantasy champ grill? Like, that's just ridiculous. And it just rubs it in everyone's faces. So
I love the concept of it though. I gotta say, like, I if Jay got one and he beat me, like
I'm waiting for it to show up.
I'm sorry, if Jay wins the Pace League and he got, if he wins, because he's got to get that's the hard part.
Gotta earn it.
Then I will support. Like, I'd be so happy to see him wearing that. I know I'm 0-2, but it's the comeback story. That's what everyone wants.
Except the guy who's 0-2. But yeah, man, I love it. I love it.
Matt, I did. So, I mean, how did you go from making alternative fuel to trophies? Like, what a transition, right? Like making the standard trophies for fantasy football, but like the move from from that industry to this.
Well, I like that LinkedIn due diligence there.
I'm telling you, this guy, I told him, I was like, look, I've got a couple basic things I want to talk to him about, but you do your thing. Cause he's with the questions he comes up and the due diligence.
I
tried to get to know the person,
It's there, man. I love it.
I love it. We have like 5 hours, right? Is that how long? I've got
however long you need, bro.
Yeah, now the the alternative fuel, as I had said, I've been an entrepreneur since the day I was born. And when oil, this is, like 2000 and shoot, what year was that? It was like 2012. Oil was up to like $140 a barrel. And my career has been in supply chain logistics. And we were very successful hedging fuel, where we give a big box store, like say Costco.com, fixed fuel. So they didn't have to worry about fluctuations. Well, we were getting absolutely annihilated in our hedge. And it was one of those things where it's 2 or 3 in the morning. Me and my business partners were X amount of drinks deep, and we're like, you know what we need to do? We need to make our own fuel. That's how we get ourselves out of this. And we got turned on this technology of how you can convert end of life plastics, because that's a product derived from oil, converted back into oil. I don't know nothing about any of this stuff, but I just jumped in, researched, started up a factory in Thailand. My wife was thrilled that I was flying to Thailand 3 times a year. We were swinging for the fences. We generated a couple million liters of oil, but ultimately, fantasy football is a lot more fun than. And I was visiting landfills. Okay, guys. Like my wife's like, "What are you doing in Thailand? You're just partying." And I'm sending her pictures like, "Babe, I'm at a landfill trying to secure contracts for trash." Okay.
Yeah.
So. Long story short, oil dropped down to $40 a barrel, and that business was decimated. We swung for the fences. No one bats 1,000, but fantasy football trophies is a lot more fun. Every birthday party that I go to, I mean, it's just so much fun. Like all the other dads is just like that's like the talking point. Making big ass championship belts, coming up with ideas for new products like the grills. It's a ton of fun. It's a ton of work. There's a reason why that, it really hadn't been done the way that we're doing it. But, I'm driven by what makes this so much fun in the industry.
Right. Problem solving. That's a big part of logistics, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
So,
go ahead.
I'm sorry, man. I know you've got really good questions.
Yeah, I get excited.
That was a good tangent. I did not expect to talk about. I hope your audience is interested in waste to energy technologies.
Who is not, right?
The audience that we have, man, trust me, anything that you're talking about, they're interested in. Trust me. So you've got a league that you started off in that basically spawned this obsession with fantasy football. How many leagues are you in, and do you have, like, which one is the league for you? Like, I've got a home league that I've been in for about 4 years now, because everyone I've tried to start that stay for a long time, like, they end up disbanding just because you just lose touch. But I've got one that I'm going on my 4th year. How about you? How many leagues are you in?
Oh man, I'm in 8 now, and I know a few folks that are, they write and this is their job and they're in dozens, but 8 is ridiculous. And my wife wants to kill me every Thursday, Sunday, and Monday. But that league that you mentioned, it's so funny how true that is. There's that one, and it's the original one. And if my co-founder was on this call, he would very, very quickly point out in my origin story that I made it to the finals, but I did not win. And I have not won yet.
How ironic.
I've been in that league for 5 years, and I've been in the finals 4 freaking times.
Oh,
every single time. It's just one thing, that's what makes fantasy awesome, is that you don't have to be a pro, and the pros can get things wrong. And it's just, at some point, it's just, there's the variability of things. And every freaking time.
That's brutal.
Yeah, this is going to be different.
In that league, do you have, well, I'm going to assume you do. What kind of trophy do you have for that league?
So we've got our Trophy Smack trophy. That's the black football and the blue columns, but we've got a bunch of cool prototype, light effect, a lot of stuff that the commissioner of that league, he's very fond that he's the commissioner of the league where this idea started.
Yeah.
And you know, he'll chime in and be like, you know what, I thought of that idea.
he just inserts himself. I'm partial owner of Trophy Smack, just so you know.
Exactly. But you know, when we do our draft parties, it's, you know, we've got our traditions of what we do like every draft party, but you know, the Trophy Smack trophy will be up and they'll have a whole light show. It's fun.
That's awesome.
Very cool, man. So yeah, we've, as you know, we've got our league, the Pace League, with Darren Waller, T-Pain, myself, Justin, Adam Rank, Michael Florio, Marcus Grant, all the NFL guys, really, Heath Cummings. Man, we got to talk later and see if we can get you into the league next season, man. Seriously.
Oh man,
it's all for charity.
Number 9. Yeah, no, I like that. That's huge, and I think that's another thing that, like with the Scott Fish Bowl and some of the involvement that we've had, I think that's a very cool way of fantasy sports as a mechanism for something good, whether it's raising money in a charity, but I think that just the way that fantasy makes you think about things. Like, I was a casual sports fan my whole life, but now the way that I'm thinking about things, like even applying that to education, is really interesting. So no, I love that, man. I appreciate that offer, and I think we could do some great things.
It's there, man. You're definitely, you are, there's a spot held for you if you decide you want to be in next season. We've got Waller coming back. Payne will probably be in, a couple of those guys too. So you get to talk some trash to some pretty funny people. Waller was talking about, he was asking about the belt. He's like, dude, we need to get a belt. I'm like, we can do it all if you want, man.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. He's all about it. He loves it.
Guys, for that. That's awesome. What's the origin story of that league? How do you have all these usual suspects in this?
Well, it's fun. Like, okay, so Justin and I, we were both kind of part of this group called the Rum Boys, and I did some article stuff for them about like the Saints, because that's my favorite team, which is quickly going to the Raiders because it seems like the Raiders all talk to me. But and Justin was working with them as well. He's got his own show and everything on YouTube. And I had these buddies that I met, Darren, and interviewed him, and T-Pain, I met him and just became friends with him and talked to him about fantasy
like,
football.
what does that mean? Like, you're at a gas station, you're like, hey, what's up? You play fantasy football? Like, what do you mean you met? Like, you met T-Pain and now you guys in a league together. Like, how does that happen?
No, I reached out to Darren to see if he'd be interested in being on the show, and he came on the show, actually came over to the house, and then he's come over for dinner and stuff. He's just a great guy. Just his story is incredible. It's unbelievable. He's also got a new album out, shameless plug, so to speak. So, but and
to be fair, your name is Plug.
What I do besides fantasy football, I'm a finance manager at a Cadillac dealership, and T-Pain came in and bought his wife Amber a new Escalade, and we struck up a conversation. I've always been a fan of T-Pain's, and I don't know, since then, now I don't even think about him as the artist. He's just probably one of the most humble, nicest people you can meet. That's and cool. I've always wanted to start up my own league, and then I started talking to these guys, and they decided they'd be interested in being in it. Like Michael Florio, I met him all basically because a year ago I got furloughed from work because of COVID, and started up a podcast, and I got blessed. Met some pretty awesome people, man. Austin Eckler might be in it next year. Met him the same way, and now we keep in touch. I mean, it's just, Trent Sig, he's going to be in the league. He's the official long snapper of the Pace League. And but I heard about Justin wanting to do the same thing because he's got some friends in the industry, and we just linked up. And now Justin's probably one of my best friends, and it's just been
so cool.
Pretty awesome ever since. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I started talking to some other friends of ours about like putting something like this together, and they're like, Jay's already started something like this, like started working on this. You should reach out to him. I'm like, okay, cool. And like, I knew a lot of the same analysts as him. So then when we start reaching out to them, they're like, oh yeah, we're in, especially since he had already brought in, T-Pain and Darren Waller. It's pretty
easy to get people to say yes whenever you've got Darren Waller and T-Pain saying that they're a part of it.
The hardest part is getting them to believe you're not lying.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Good stuff.
Yeah, and then Danny Woodhead, he got real excited about it. He's real involved. Like it's pretty cool. It's a lot of fun, man. So really give it some thought. You should be in the league next year. I think it'll be a blast.
That's great. Yeah, I think you'd work with Jay on our team.
Yeah, Jay's awesome.
Yeah. We've got a great thing going where when I'm like the FSG Experts League, we're making their trophies and they wanted me to join. I'm like, guys, I don't know if I've got the time for that. And then they just kind of didn't listen to me and they just threw me in there. So I was like, Jay, you want to co-manage this? He's like, I'd love to. I'm like, oh man, now we can really scale the quantity of leagues. So between Jay and I co-managing, as long as he doesn't screw everything up this year, this is kind of his trial run.
Has Dak won your league?
Dax has won.
Or Dax
has won once, and that was a complete luck job. I wasn't even there to know it was a luck job. He did that. Based on your performances, I've been in the league. He's not honest to defend himself, but he is screaming from across the office right now.
Yeah. I was gonna say we got to get a draft board on here for Pace League with all these people, right? Who doesn't want a draft board with T-Pain and all these people on it?
They sent us one and we had it here, and I was gonna put all the stickers and stuff on it because it was hard to get everybody together in the same spot.
Yeah.
So I just got to put it together when I have the time, and I'll put it up online and stuff and show everybody the way that everybody drafted. I'm extremely surprised the way that Payne drafted.
He killed it.
He sent me a video to show to everybody talking trash and that he was going to just smash buttons. Like the way he plays Mortal Kombat is the way he's going to do this. He's just going to be like, and then that's who he gets. And he decided to pick up Alvin Kamara first, which he was the second pick overall after Justin, and then me, and then Coach, who Adam Rank took over for Coach because Coach had an issue with it being able to be in the league because his
college
job
didn't want. Yeah.
Oh, so Adam Rank's in the league?
Yeah.
Adam Rank. Yeah. Yes, sir. Yeah. He was talking trash to Payne. He sent me a video on that too. I put it all online. It's funny. He's a funny guy.
Matt, I got one more question for you though. Is there any fantasy player that like holds a special place in your heart? Like, that just killed it for you and he's just got a special place in your heart?
A special place, I think, of the future prospect of killing and continuing to kill him. But Jay, you just mentioned him, Austin Eckler. For whatever reason, when he was back up to Gordon, you see those flashes of just like, oh man, like this guy's got it, and he's so engaged, and you can just see the charisma in fantasy of how he kind of carries himself on social media. So I always try to draft Eckler unless it's, something outrageous like in an auction draft where three other people have the same mentality as me. But
yeah,
Eckler, I like him a lot.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah, he great person too.
Yeah, phenomenal guy. That's actually the foundation that I'm representing, Austin Eckler Foundation, for the Pace League. So yeah. Got a place in my heart. Yeah, he's pretty awesome.
Yeah, had him on the show a couple weeks ago. It was awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep, it was a blast. But man, speaking of a blast, Matt, thank you so much for being on the show with us, buddy. That's all we got for you. But anybody out there listening to this, one of the official sponsors of the Pace League, Trophy Smack, ramp up your smack talk with Trophy Smack and reward greatess.
I love it. I couldn't have said it better myself, Jay. I love it, man. Thanks for having me on. This is fun. And we've got a ton of product ideas. I mean, that's the best part about this business. We're thinking of all sorts of fun stuff. So there's not going to be any dull moments here on out. I mean, we're gonna be introducing and launching a lot of cool custom products.
I can't wait to see it, Matt. Seriously,
I will be buying all of them.
I have no idea where y'all can go from the grill. Once I saw the grill, I lost it. Like my wife was like, "Jesus, okay, fine, just get it." She's like,
getting the prototypes, and I've got a 9-year-old and a 7-year-old son, and I'm getting prototypes of how the diamonds should be arranged. And there's like, I don't know what they're thinking, but yeah, I mean, it's not crazy is normalized in our house now. I really want this year. I wasn't able to launch it, but I wanted to get a dunce cap for fantasy loser punishments.
Yes.
I think
Oh yeah, that's the best.
And we've got some fun product here, like a real toilet seat. We've got like this loser mirror that's a little tchotchke, but I feel like a 28-inch ridiculous dunce cap. It says fantasy dunce, and it's bright purple and pink and brown. I don't know, drafting with that on, like that.
Absolutely. I'm in on this.
Loser punishments.
100%.
Yeah, good stuff. No, I really appreciate it, guys. This is awesome.
Absolutely, Matt. Thanks so much for being on the Pace League Weekly, buddy. Very
Thanks
happy
for
to have
having
you.
me. I'll see you guys. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Okay. Bye.